Anyways, welcome to the Round 2 2016 episode of Lachie's Weekly Footy Roundup. We're going to look at the games. We're looking back at round 1, the ladder after round 1, and we're predicting round 2. As I'll be off to Melbourne next week to watch Richmond and Adelaide versus each other at Etihad Stadium, and Western Bulldogs and Hawthorn at Etihad the very next day. Anyways, we'll start off with the Richmond-Carlton game. What was that from Richmond? I expected it to win by 100 points, and they only won by 9. Well, they pretty much let Carlton back in the game at one stage. Before we talk about the game, I reckon Tom Lynch might have re-signed it. Yeah, the Tom Lynch re-signed for the Crows. Not the one who plays for the Gold Coast Suns. Right now, he's about to be going to Richmond in a few years. For Carlton, Bryce Gibbs, 30 disposals and a goal. He's kind of playing with 127 points in fantasy, playing like himself for 2010. Mark Murphy also played good in this game, 126 in fantasy. Kane Lambert's been Richmond's best player with 125 fantasy points, 28 in the goal. Matthew Wright kicked 3 goals for Carlton in this game. Ty Vickery kicked 3 goals for Richmond. Jack Rewalt, Connor Manager and Sam Lloyd with 2 goals each for Richmond, and the other multiple goal kicker for Carlton was Andres Everett with 2 goals. As for Carlton, well, finally, they've actually competed for once. After a crappy after a not so good 2015 season they had. As for Richmond, poor pre-season form is starting to catch up. Melbourne and GWS at the MCG. 2-point win for Melbourne. Jack Viney played great for the Demons. 32 disposals and 6 tackles. Heath Shaw had 30 disposals, 25 of them were kicks. Callum Ward, 28 disposals and 2 goals. As for the lean goal kickers, Jesse Hogan kicked 3 for Melbourne and 2 for Aaron Vandenberg and Jeff Garlett. As for the Giants, Rory Lobb and Steve Johnson kicked 2. Man, don't change your hair colour too much, Rory Lobb, please. Your natural hair colour looks really good. Both teams, following that classic they played in round 1, I reckon both teams might be in the finals race this year. Gold Coast versus Essendon at Metricon Stadium. The Western Bulldogs have been flagging interest in Aaron. What a game from Aaron Hall! 36 disposals and 2 goals. I reckon he's the early favourite for the Brownlow medal. Gary Ablett Jr. back to his 2013 best. 34 disposals and a goal against the Bombers. Dion Preston had another great game for the Suns, 29 and a goal. Matt Reiser played pretty good in the midfield himself on his debut for his new club after 11 years with the Eagles. And best player for Essendon is actually David Zaharakis, 33 and 2 goals. While a young Zach Merritt had 31 touches for the Dons. And James Kelly played pretty good in this game. There's no love lost between Ablett and Kelly, the 2 old Geelong teammates. For the leading goal kickers, Tom Lynch kicked 4 for the Suns. Jack Martin, Aaron Hall and Sam Day with 2 each. As for the Bombers, 3 goals to Matty Stokes. on his debut for his new club. 2 goals to Zaharakis. For the Gold Coast Suns, well, surely they've got to get back to their 2014 best at least. As for Essendon, what was that performance? I know you've got so many players suspended. Just actually compete. Sydney and Collingwood at the SCG. What a game from the Swans. 40 and a goal for Luke Parker. Got to make him captain of my fantasy team this week. 30 and 3 goals. 30 disposals and 3 goals for Tom Mitchell. Adam Treloar played pretty good on debut for his new club. 34 and a goal. Look at the goal kickers. Buddy Franklin with 4 for Sydney. Tom Papley 3 on debut. Harry Cunningham 2 goals. Tom Mitchell 3. There's no multiple goal kickers for Collingwood. But we've got some sad news to inform you. I think this is pretty much the last game for 2011 Brownlow medalist Dane Swan. He's out for the entire season. Jared Dane! It was... Why did you have to do me? We're in the 2nd minute of the game! No! Well, I think that's Collingwood's season done. They're not going to make finals this year. For the Swannies, I reckon they're pretty much the early favourite for the premiership. Anyways, before I get way too sad, let's look at the other Saturday night game, North Melbourne and Adelaide at Etihad Stadium. Oh, what a game that was! I remember watching that. I was watching that on television. Looked like Adelaide were going to win it at one stage, but however, although both teams wanted to win this game, but North Melbourne wanted it more. Only 10 points was the final margin. At least the Crows showed up. Todd Goldstein. Well, no stopping Todd Goldstein. 13 disposals, 44 hit-outs and a goal. Get him in the All-Australian team once again. He's very good. Jared what? Boomer Harvey, 16 disposals and 3 goals. He's playing like the Boomer Harvey of old. Although he'll be turning 38 this year, but oh man, he is still a great football player to have on your team. Let's look at the goal kickers for Adelaide. 5 goals in a losing side for Josh Jenkins. Well, I reckon if the Crows can have a forward line of Tex Walker, Josh Jenkins, and his potential future successor in Riley Philthorpe, I reckon Adelaide's going to be a great team probably in the next few years. As for North Melbourne, Jared Waite kicked 3 goals, so did Boomer Harvey. 2 goals to Drew Petrie, Taylor Garner, and Ben Brown. Lindsay Thomas won. If he kicked straight, he would have got 3 goals. AKA the future Eastern Park coach. Well, hopefully they'll be in Div 2 by the time Lindsay Thomas arrives. And they're my local club. Anyways, on Sunday, Western Bulldogs versus Fremantle at Etihad Stadium. Oh my days. What was that from the Dockers? Pathetic. They let the Western Bulldogs win by 10 goals! You were minor premiers last year! Absolutely. Look at the stats for the Western Bulldogs. Jason Johansson, 25 and a goal across half back. Have a great game from him. Shane Beggs. Been a great pickup since leaving Sydney. 35 disposals and 6 marks. Bob Murphy, 31 disposals and a behind. He's shown some great leadership. Well, hopefully he'll be captain by the time they win the premiership. Lachie Hunter, 31 disposals. Another great game from him. Jack McRae, 30 and a goal. Leading goal kickers for the Dogs. Well, 5 goals from Jake Stringer. As for Fremantle, well, nothing much to report here. Except for 25 plus disposals from Tommy Sheridan and Lachie Neale. For the Western Bulldogs, I got a feeling I reckon, could we see flag dogs this year? As for Fremantle, get your act together! You were minor premiers last year! I picked you for the grand final last year, Fremantle! What's going on with you boys?
Jordan, good boy.
Port Adelaide versus St Kilda at Adelaide Oval. Well, Saints looked pretty good in the first 3 quarters, and Port Adelaide ran away with the game in the final quarter. It's a bit of stats. Robbie Gray, 26 and 4 goals. Another sublime effort from Robbie. Brad Ebert, 25 and 3 for him. Charlie Dixon for it. Best player for the Saints in this game is Jack Stevens, 36 disposals and a goal. For the leading goal kickers, Wingard with Robbie Gray and Chad Wingard combined for 7 goals each for the Power. Jack Liney kicked free for the Saints. Brad Ebert and Charlie Dixon also kicked free for Port. Justin Westhoff with 2. Mav Weller, Nick Rewell and Josh Bruce with 2 each for the Saints. For Port Adelaide, could we see them back at the finals at the same time as the Crows? As for St Kilda, I reckon they put up a good fight against Port. I reckon the boys will improve sometime during the season. Now we move on to the second to last game of the round, West Coast and Brisbane Lions at Domain Stadium. What a game from Josh Kennedy. 25 possessions, 8 goals! I reckon that was stopping Josh. I reckon Josh Kennedy might win the Carlton this year. Matt Prentice, 43 disposals. Nick Natanui, 22 touches, 2 goals, 46 headouts. Complete team effort from the Eagles. Best player for Brisbane, I reckon it's Daniel Rich. 23 touches, 2 goals, 11 tackles. Let's look at the other goal kickers for West Coast. Jamie Cripps, kick free. Name it to not mention, kick free. Nick Natanui with 2, Mark LaCroix 2, Jack Darling 2, and another 2 from Jamie Bennell. As for Brisbane, Christensen 3, Lewis Taylor 3, Josh Walker, Josh Shackey, Tom Rockcliffe, and Daniel Rich 2 each. West Coast, I reckon they could potentially bounce back from losing the previous year's grand final to Hawthorn. As for Brisbane, I reckon it's going to be another long season incoming. Easter Monday, Geelong and Hawthorn at the MCG. What a debut for Patrick Dangerfield at Geelong. 43 possessions and 137 fantasy points on debut. Get that man a Brownlow medal. Jordan Lewis played good in this game for great in this game for Hawthorn, same with Sam Mitchell. Goal kickers in this one, Zach Smith kicked free on debut for Geelong. Darcy Lane kicked free for the Cats, so did Josh Caddy. Jack Gunston and Paul Piopolo with 3 each. Lincoln McCarthy and Tom Hawkins with 2 each for the Cats. Luke Bruce and 2014 Grand Final hero Will Langford with 2 each for the Hawks. For Geelong in this game, well, could they be the team to actually catch up? As for Hawthorn, well, next week their 4P quest starts. Let's look at the ladder after round 1. Oh, the Western Bulldogs are top of the table. 200. Sydney 2nd, Gold Coast 3rd, West Coast 4th, Geelong's 5th, 6th is Port, Richmond 7, North Melbourne 8. Melbourne sitting 9th, 10th is the Giants. Well, for teams from 1 to 9, they are on 4 points, 10 to 18, 0 points. And the team that's in dead last is Fremantle. And just the fact they finished top last year. What's gone? Anyways, now we move on to round 2. Looking at the teams for round 2.
Whoa. Hey, go.
There's the squads that are linked here.
Hey, go, boy.
Anyways, Collingwood versus Richmond at the MCG to kickstart round 2. For this week's game, I reckon the Tigers will probably get up that round by, I say, 60 points. My pick for best on ground for Richmond, I'll be going with Jack Rewalt, Trent Cotchin, Dustin Martin, and I'll go back to Hooley. Collingwood, I reckon Alex Masilo will have a really good game for Collingwood. Taylor Adams, Adam Treloar, and I reckon Brodie Grundy. Essendon versus Melbourne at the MCG on Saturday afternoon. I reckon Melbourne will easily get up by 97 points. I reckon Essendon are going to start 0-2. Adelaide versus Port Adelaide at Adelaide Oval. I reckon the Crows will bounce back from last week's loss to North Melbourne and win by 6 points in a close game. Brisbane versus North Melbourne at the Gabba. Well, I reckon the Kangaroos will get up by 45 points. Saints and Bulldogs at Etihad Stadium. I reckon the Dogs will get up by... Sorry, Nick Rewalt, on your 300th game. I'm going to have to go with the Western Bulldogs by 4 points. Fremantle versus Gold Coast at Domain Stadium. Fremantle, I'll give you one more chance. I reckon the Dockers will win by 1 point. Pretty much not convinced of it now. GWS versus Geelong at Manuka Oval in Canberra. I reckon the winner will be I have to go with the Giants. They showed a lot of improvement. I reckon GWS by a point. Hawthorn versus West Coast at the MCG. The grand final rematch. I reckon Hawthorn by 40 points. Carlton versus Sydney at Etihad Stadium. My pick for this week, I've got to go with the Swans by 70 points. Anyways, that's this week's episode, and we'll see you for round 3.